going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Let me get the camera and the gimbal here. I know it's a little shaky here. Kind of discombobulated coming out of work here. Let's see if we can get it in there. Hey, we're at Water in Michigan. This is where we're usually starting in their lives here. Getting out of work here, 5 o'clock on a Friday. There's the Carbide and Carbon building. Man, things are seeming like they're speeding up. There's all kinds of things happening in the news and things that are accelerating, and we got to talk about stuff that's going on here. So here, let me turn on the comments, see if anybody can. Chris, how you doing there in ECG? How you doing there? Happy Friday. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, we're in the mid 80s. We might break a record tomorrow for the highest temperature. Beginning of October, it's supposed to get to 87 degrees tomorrow, and maybe even Sunday, I don't know. But here we go. Here we'll cross the street here. We'll head up to Wacker, Michigan. I saw on the news that this is not funny at all. So here we'll head around here. I don't want to freak out these people. I think they're just waiting for the bus here. I saw that the Alderman Fuentes from Humboldt Park, she was put in handcuffs at a hospital. She was just asking an ICE agent a question if they had a warrant. They chased somebody that injured their leg, and they had to take them to the hospital because they injured themselves trying to get away from ICE. And then ICE came to the hospital. How cruel is this? I guess the police do this with things as well. You know, people have to be handcuffed to gurneys and stuff. But they treated the Chicago alderwoman really harshly, and to see it on camera, and she's like, "I'm an elected official. You're a federal agent. Why do you have to treat me like this?" You know. And thankfully, one of her staff was filming it. Imagine if they took her in a back room where they weren't filming what was going on. You know, and that's what, you know. And there's another video where you know, and this, we're just getting started. This is gonna get worse and worse. There was a military veteran that fought in Afghanistan, a U.S. military veteran citizen that recorded it, and the ICE agent almost punched the veteran. And he says, "If you lay a hand on me, you know, that's assault. You can't assault, you know, if they won't identify themselves." He kept saying, "Are you a cop or are you ICE?" They wouldn't identify themselves. Their masks were off. We could tell the identities of these people. And, you know, the fact that the Gestapo there's got to wear a mask, you know. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. I saw this today. I'll post the rerun from when we walked through the South Loop. They had, some gentlemen were there. Sunday, October the 5th, 3 to 5, St. Pius Parish there, 1901 South Ashland. We'll talk about this more. That's on Sunday, this Sunday. And so we might head down to Maxwell Street on Sunday and then head over to Pilsen, St. Pius there, 1901 South. And this guy... I'll refrain what I really want to say. I'll just keep it to myself. This is not the America I thought I was going to inherit when I was sitting in civics classes in the 1990s. So we'll see what happens. You got this, you know. We'll just talk about stuff happening in the city here. I saw Jody G TV. You know, thankfully another woman posted a video. There's some guy running around punching women in the back of the head, and thankfully they apprehended somebody. And then, of course, the jokes fly that the Chicago justice says will let them right back out, and they probably will. And we know. But Jody G TV, he ran into him. There was another guy, and they were on the bridge there crossing the South Branch, and he's got video of him, and he tried to punch Jody G TV, who's a Chicago live streamer. So we got, you know, we saw what happened to Ernie. you know, these are all newsworthy things. There's like national media that wants to, you know, talk about what's going on with the U.S. citizens getting harassed by ICE. And here everybody's taking a picture here. I'm trying to get the boat going by here. Here's the, oh, they got kayakers here. Here's the main channel, the Chicago River here. And hey, people going down to the Wendellas here. There's a tour boat, 2 kayakers. Hey, look at this nice view here. Here's the Tribune and the Intercontinental Hotel, Wrigley Building, downtown Chicago. I'm getting out of work on a Friday. There's some pop-up shop over there. I don't need to advertise for whatever they're advertising for. They pay the city to use that and promote whatever they're promoting there. So, yeah, nothing. Isn't America great? How depressing is it that we're in this situation? You know, and it just, you know, it's like a bizarro world. The government shut down. The national parks are all messed up. They're going to cut a bunch of federal funding to blue states. The stock market's at an all-time high. It went up today. It went up the last 3 days, even though the government supposedly shut down. Wall Street doesn't give a flying flip about any of this. They're complicit in the fashion. They're complicit in all this because they got their precious tax cut, and the government's, you know, they're merging with the government. The corporations are merging with this fascist regime, and you know, here's Tribune Tower. So we'll see what happens on November the 5th. There's supposed to be a big demonstration in Washington, D.C. We got a lot of time between then and there. Hey, look at this violinist. Yeah, very nice.
I love
Michigan Ave. Look at that. Yeah, very nice. So, hey, Michigan Avenue Friday night. Thanks for tuning in there. Thanks, people, to tune in on lunch. We went to Buckingham Fountain at lunch. And, yeah, it feels like a midsummer day. Midsummer afternoon here. 85 degrees. Izzy, how you doing there, Pete? Stephanie, Jummy, DCG, Dolores, Grim Evil, how you doing there? Chris Schultz, Taco, Lonnie D. Yeah, I missed a bunch of people at the beginning there. Yeah. Chess. Yeah, the Tribune Tower. Motor Oil. So what's going on now is I'm just walking up Michigan Avenue. We'll see if there's another show of force of ICE marching around in their little fascist uniforms there, and their masked Americans that won't identify themselves. American Gestapo. Here's the mums. I don't know what to tell people. People, you know, I have an international audience. People tune in from all over the world, and they're like, you know, we're seeing what's happening in your country. We thought this only happened in like Cuba and North Korea, and it's happening in the United States of America. And for Americans to be okay with this makes me fear for what people expect out of this country, you know. And because, you know, what if it happened to them? See, that's the thing. Being a U.S. citizen doesn't mean it can't happen to us as U.S. citizens. I could see a scenario where they use ICE to round up protesters that are U.S. citizens, you know. And nice dog there. He was filming this cute dog there. Here's Pop Mark. See, I have to film capitalism to talk about a more egalitarian society, which is not capitalism. There, Michigan Avenue. Heading home from work. Happy it's Friday here. So we'll cross back and forth Michigan Avenue. Ernie, how you doing there? Hey, so Ernie, I didn't realize this was going on. I've been kind of all over the place. I was walking through from the South Loop back by the Harold Washington Library, and I crossed here where DePaul was, and there was a small, you could see it on the rerun there. I think you just signed off. I know you were watching at lunch. They got this mass organization meeting there. It's in Sunday, October the 5th. St. Pius, you know where that's at in Pilsen there, 1901, 3 to 5. They're talking about organizing locally, but more for nationally for November the 5th. November the 5th, there's supposed to be major demonstrations in Washington, D.C. People are probably going to bust in from all over the country. And so I might head down to Pilsen on Sunday to see what they got to say there. I was thinking about trying to go to the Chinatown Moon Festival, but that's on Saturday. I wish it was all on the same day so I could just, like, you know, go down on Sunday, but it looks like I might have to go to Chinatown on Saturday maybe, and then Sunday is probably more important. If I go to Pilsen, I'll stop at Maxwell Street on the way over there, which the Maxwell Street Market's only open one Sunday a week, a month, and I missed it all the other months. But we've gone to Maxwell Street many times, Maxwell and Halstead there. There's pylons they got there. Yeah, the Phillies, yeah. Cubs game there, yeah. Cubs versus Milwaukee, 108. That's tomorrow. Thanks, Taco Jalapenos, also for the good information there. Yeah, we start the Brewers series there tomorrow. But Ernie, did you see Jody GTV? He posted to Instagram and he posted it to TikTok. The South Loop puncher, the guy that punches women in the back of the head, Jody G ran into him and he got video of him. And that some other Good Samaritan guy, he was helping out trying to get the guy from stopping attacking people. And I think they got somebody in custody. I saw another video. We think there's several of these people. It's not just one person. What they want to do is they want to make people fearful of riding transit or walking down downtown streets. They got an ulterior motive. They might just be mentally unstable homeless people, or they might be true sociopaths that are doing it to scare people from riding a CTA, or women. Or they must be misogynists too, because they seem to attack women, which is like cowardly. They punch them in the back of the head, and I don't know what strange reasoning they have for it. Look at that, this is new. So they put a big, they did this for the marathon. They put a big advertisement here. They wrapped the building. We'll see this next week because, yeah, they probably just did this all for the marathon. How you doing here? Hey, is this for the marathon, or it's a pop-up shop?
Yep, it's the pop-up. It's part of the marathons, the Vomero Premiums. Yep,
Vomero Premiums. Good, thank Nike. So this is with Nike Town. Okay, thank you. That's good. So hey, so Nike expanded here. They're gonna promote their new shoe here, and we'll see this next week. There's the squirrel. There's the squirrel. Yeah, run. They'll get all the running shoes out for the marathon here. Yeah, I'm walking home here. I'm missing all the comments here. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in here. Yeah, I'm missing some of the side conversation here, so I won't jump in. I'll just mess it up here. The Grim Evil, thanks for tuning in. Taco Jalapenos also, thanks for tuning in, Ernie. Oops, good. So here, we're heading up Michigan Avenue. We're up to Allerton Hotel. This is Huron. Harry Potter store is over there. Hey, that's a good statement there, Kevin. Yeah, we got to find a way to get along even if we disagree, and that's the hardest part of America is, you know, we got deep divisions in this country that are being expressed now through what side you're on ice. And some people are okay with it, other people are very much against it, and it's a if you're against it like I am, it's very harrowing to just look at the videos. We're just gonna have to do like, it just makes you lose faith in humanity. Like people, you know, the empathy's not considered a positive quality anymore. And if elected officials aren't empathetic, be careful if they resort to desperate means when they try to remove them from power. You think these people are going to voluntarily step down when they're willing to use violence in this way and scare tactics and psyops? It's meant to be cruel. It's meant to be scary. What do we tell kids? what do we tell kids? I think that's why they're so desperately trying to control social media and censor social media, because they know kids are going to see these images. They're going to see masked American men and women racially profiling and attacking other U.S. citizens and undocumented immigrants, and it just it gets everybody's cortisol up. A guy I was talking to who is a Trump supporter, he goes, well, nobody likes this, but we have to do it. So he's resolved to. He doesn't like it, but he thinks it's a necessary thing. And if innocent people get hurt in the process, that's the result of the failed policies of Biden. And I'm like, I just don't understand that rationale. And it seems to me very cruel. You know, how can we be the standard bearer of human rights and justice and everything we fought for after World War II to maintain world order? We're just relinquished this. No one's gonna. America's not the shining city on the hill anymore. We've lost our way. We're not. You know, we're a very wealthy country. Why are we being so cruel to people that are just in a desperate situation? You know, and they're fleeing violence from one country and they come here, and then we give violence right back to them. And not all of them are criminals, you know, and they're going to make a lot of regular U.S. citizens criminals in the process. You know, that's what happened in the 1960s. People had to make amazing decisions that affected their life, about how they felt about the draft or the Vietnam War. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully enough people will peacefully resist, and the best way to resist is to stop economic activities. Don't take a vacation. Don't spend money on corporations that promote this and are benefiting from the policies of the Trump administration. We can find other ways to enjoy ourselves without spending money in this. We got to reject materialism, commercialism, and you know, if that involves me giving up social media, I'm willing to do it. My life might have been better before social media. And like Lisa and other people, every once in a while, take a retreat, get away from social media, keep the phones away. It must be refreshing, you know. I kind of did it when I went to my dad's. I didn't live stream all the time. I positive negatives everything. I missed everybody here, but I didn't miss the trolls. I didn't miss being confused all the time and not understanding what people are asking or why they're asking it. I'm just confused half the time. Here's the John Hancock, 875 North Michigan. Yeah, let's head over this way. Yeah, we could go to the beach though. Let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach here. Here, we got 20 seconds to get across here. Michigan Avenue. We went by the water tower there. They got the shocks of corn there. Sorry, I'm missing all the comments here. I'm just trying to get home on a Friday. Thanks for tuning in here. Hey, thanks everybody tuning in yesterday. We saw the Cubs beat the Padres there. I still got it's on YouTube. We ran into a mother with her son there, and they recognized me, or her son recognized me, and we had a nice talk there. So you can see that clip on YouTube. I might transfer over to TikTok. But I'm upset about how the ICE agent treated the Chicago alder person. She was a woman. And that's what's going to eventually, we're going to see enough images of kids being in zip ties, you know, black people being rounded up with, you know, it shows you how stupid this country is. If it was like a white woman, then it would go right to the news, you know. But since it's a person of color, woman alderman, I didn't even know about it, you know. I guess ABC 7 did cover it. I'm reading too much into it, I know. Here's 900 North Michigan. It's a policy intended to be cruel. And I think Trump would rather be feared than loved, especially now. I think at one time he thought he could be loved, but now he realizes he can't be loved except by his base. So for the people that don't love him, he wants us to fear him now. And Congress certainly fears them. I've never thought less of anybody in the world than the spineless Congress and both parties. You know, at least they're trying to make a stand there, but the options are limited. Everybody loses in a government shutdown. No one wins. And everybody just tries to blame each other, which is how stupid our politics has become. These people call themselves responsible people, and they can't even compromise on paying the bills. But here we'll head up to... I just want it to affect the stock market. I want a billionaire to lose $1 billion. And I don't, you know, then the tragedy is a million regular people will lose their jobs, and the billionaire will still be fine. Hey, one Chicago Tower. Go by the Gold Coast here. How's everybody doing there? Happy Friday. Maybe if I get to the beach in Lake Michigan, I'll forget all this and just get into a nice moment of zen and realize we only control the small world around us. I only control how I react to these things. And here we're crossing Lakeshore Drive at Oak here. Hey, we're making good time though. Yeah, downtown Chicago. Palmero, how you doing there? Winter. See you, Terry, there. Have a good weekend. Yeah, we'll go to Oak Street Beach there. TC, how you doing? Winter, what's shaking? Yeah, 3 times a day. I try, people know from the TikTok days, I usually try to get in a routine where I'm pretty much the same time, morning, noon, and night. So you don't even need the notifications. You just have to, I need to get better at notifying people when I'm not streaming. It freaks people out. There, Karen, Tom. But, hey, at least my leg's feeling better. That motorcycle's riding the berm there. Here, we'll head to Oak Street Beach and we'll see. I don't think there's much waves today. We'll see if people are at the beach. People will be at the beach this weekend. It's going to be 87 degrees. It's going to be like near 90. Yeah, look at this guy. Look at Jeffrey. Look at Jeffrey McCommon there. Look at Jeffrey McCommon. Look at him. You can't. You want to look at me? Hey, you want to see my butt too? There's like, show your face. I'll show my gut. Look at this guy. Hey, man, look. Hey, the marathon's next weekend. Yeah, so this weekend we got Chinatown. They got the Moon Festival. They'll have lanterns there at Chinatown Square. Might look nice at night. Will look nice at night. Maxwell Street Market's on Sunday. Starts at 10, I think goes to 2. And then they're going to have this organization, and here I'll post the, it's still processing there, the video from lunchtime here. Come to Chicago's mass organizing meeting here. Sunday, October the 5th, 3 to 5, St. Pius, 1901 South Ashland. So there'll be more information coming about that. That's on Sunday in Pilsen, Chicago, Ashland, 1901 South Ashland there in Pilsen. So hey, let's head through the beach here. People jogging on the lakefront bike path. This is Oak Street Beach, Chicago, Illinois, Lake Michigan, playing volleyball. Yeah, so lone slinger, yeah, it's a crime, but do you have to be a masked man and create terror and arrest U.S. citizens to do it? It's going to cost a lot of money, and this problem's been building for 3 decades. And you can blame it all on Biden. It started actually with Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Obama, Trump, and Biden. And what are you so worried about? America's not rich enough to handle some new immigrants? You know, can we absorb them even if they broke the law to get here? You know, what did they do to you? Did they take your Social Security? How about Elon Musk. Did Elon Musk take your Social Security? What if you worked for the government and you were doged? I can find ways that Elon Musk has more adversely affected my life by supporting Trump than what we all call illegal migrants. And I live in Chicago. I've lived in Chicago for almost 30 years now. You know, a lot. Should I be angry at Governor Texas of Abbott? Was it responsible for him to send a bunch of people that came across the border, ship them to New York, Chicago, and then when it became politically advantaged, use it to declare war on those cities? It was all part of the plan, and we were duped into it. But that's not the only thing that we're worried about. It's just this one thing. I don't like that my president is not the president for all of America. He's only president for the people that voted for him. And he asked to use U.S. generals to attack U.S. American cities and practice on us horrible liberals that live in big cities, because we deserve to have the U.S. military used against us, even though we pay higher taxes than you do. And that's our own fault for living in expensive, liberal, big, horrible cities that America hates and wants to destroy. You see how bad it is here? Oh, it's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. We're all wasting away here, the urban hellscape of Chicago, Illinois. I've been filming this for the past almost 3 years. I've gone to South Side, West Side. Jody GTV was streaming in Cermak. He was down in Little Village, and he, you know, hey, look at this dog. Ernie streams Little Village in Pilsen. I hear we've gone to Humboldt Park. I need to get the back of the yards, but we're working on it here. Heading home from work here, Gold Coast, Chicago. See, that's where we came from. We came from the Giant Hancock there. We walked by there. It's Oak Street Beach. Gentle waves. You can look back to Navy Pier there. I just remember Neil Diamond in the 1980s. He had that patriotic song, "Coming to America." And America, you know, used to be, I remember, like, Russian defectors. And America would rally. They were like, yeah, thanks for choosing America over Russia. And we would support them, you know. And I know it's been controversial. Like, you can watch Scarface, and it talks about the Cuban refugees of the early 1980s, like 79, 1980. And that's where the character that plays Scarface, there was really an internment or a migrant camp in Miami underneath the interstate that's loosely based on real events, where the Castro allowed Cuban citizens to risk their lives. And this happened in the 1990s and 2000s too. Like the Haitian migrants, they would get on a raft, just like the ones in the Mediterranean, and float across there trying to get to Greece. So Europe's been dealing with this. We're dealing with this. We're not the only country that's been dealing with a migrant crisis. And to me, it just shows the limits of globalization, where globalization was supposed to lift all boats, where people could, wherever they lived, enjoy the benefits of free trade. But no, it just concentrates everything into the wealthy. And we get the externalities, which is mass migration, failed states, and this world order we tried to create there through the United Nations. Our current administration is undermining these institutions that we fostered, and no longer believes in them. So if the President of the United States doesn't believe in the United Nations, why should anybody else believe in the United Nations? And I know his ego was hurt because the stupid escalator stopped. Get over it. You know, I'm the same way. Why am I complaining? I'm a big whiner. But I'm not President of the United States, and we're all thankful for that. Here we're by the shores of Lake Michigan. Hey, they're swimming. October the 3rd, 2025. People are swimming here. Look at that. Water's fine. Look at that. See, there's ladders here. Hey, he's got to jump in. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, the water's fine here. See, we're here by between Oak Street Beach and North Avenue Beach here, playing soccer. Yeah, I'm a sinner. Those without sin cast the first stone. I'm not I can't cast the stone there. I've fallen short. I'm not perfect, nor have I claimed to be. We got to talk about something. Hey, he's getting out of the water there. See, he climbed, he pulled him. He's a strong man. He pulled himself up without a ladder. Jody G could do that too. He does all the chin-ups and pull-ups. Oh, did you see that October swim, Delios? Yeah, Ernie covered it. Ernie covered the Chicago swim there at the river. That's the first time they had it since the 1920s. I saw him setting it up there. Yeah, you want me to jump in, Myrna? I feel like jumping in. It's warm enough. Joey Jojo. Ognorth the Great. Jack Black. That's good, Jeffrey. I look like Jack Black? Hey. Yeah, I'm kind of a fat, middle-aged guy with the beard. I think he has more gray hair, and I think he's a little older than I am, so I got that going. Hey, here's the juggler. Look at the juggler. Yeah, very nice. Look at that talent there. See, this goes on all summer. People come out here and juggle and practice their skills here. Look at that. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Thank you. That's good.
New trick. Don't charge me.
What's that?
It's a new trick. Edit the...
That's good. Yeah, I'll edit it out there. That's perfect with the John Hancock. You're out here most of the summer. I've seen you before out here juggling. Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
That's great. Hey, well, enjoy this weather. It's going to be really nice. Hey, there you go. That's great. That's very nice. Hey, see? Juggling on the water here. Very good. Hey, DJ Jan, Dan's back there. Colleen, how you doing there? See the juggler? Yeah, we'll clip that out. Should have asked him his name there. How did somebody do that? Oh, I thought it was carved in there, but it's just written on there. That's the stupidest message I've seen all day. 2,000 years from now, just like the ancient Roman graffiti we see there, we'll see this graffiti and we'll be like, who is this Trump guy? And what did he do? Who is your daddy? And what does he do? Hey, look at the housing here. Gold Coast, Chicago. Look at that. So, just joined, we're in Chicago. This is Lake Michigan. That's the John Hancock. That's part of the Chicago skyline. You can't see the whole skyline because we're along the lake here. We're walking along the Gold Coast. That's North Avenue Beach. We're north of Oak Street Beach. That's the Sable Lakeshore Drive. We're heading north. Yesterday we were up at Wrigley Field. We got some footage of the Cubs. Well, I didn't go in the game. But we got some footage of the outside people celebrating. And that guy okay, so the one video that a lot of people have seen, he was on TV. I was CBS News, the cameraman, and I was behind there. And I just switched to recording, and that's when he said, "Go Cubs, go!" And he said, "For the hot dog, Chicago-style hot dog, no mustard, no ketchup." And then he walks away. And somebody sent me the clip that's on CBS. They put it on a whole montage with the fans. And there's an earlier where I was trying to switch from live streaming to recording because my live stream wasn't recording. And you could see me in the background on the CBS News clip. You could see me behind the camera. I'm just kind of like looking at my phone, walking around. So I was on TV last night. I didn't realize it. But hey, thanks for tuning in there. Thanks to everybody that tuned in for that. So we got the Milwaukee series starts tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So I forgot that there's more games. I might wait till later in the series to go up to Wrigley because we were just there yesterday. If I go there, I don't want to go up there for all the games because people will get tired of it. So we'll let them play a few games and if it gets to a game where they could be deciding the series. Well, it doesn't matter. They're going to be in Milwaukee tomorrow anyway. But I'm talking about when they get back to Chicago, so I don't even have to worry about trying to go to game tomorrow. They're starting in Milwaukee. They'll be in Chicago weekdays next week. Talking about the Cubs versus the Milwaukee Brewers there, the playoffs for the Major League Baseball. But hey, they're swimming. They're swimming. We're up here by North Avenue Beach here, Chicago, Illinois, Lake Michigan. See, we're walking home from work here on a Friday. Yeah. No, this is a lake. There's a lake. This is fresh water. Do you not know that not only is Chicago on this lake we call Lake Michigan, Milwaukee fronts this same lake, and many Michigan cities on the other side. Toronto is on Lake Ontario. Wow, look at that. Yeah, nice backflip. That is awesome. Yeah, thank you. That's great. Does the water feel good? Is it cold? Or?
Yeah, it's cold.
It's like 65 degrees. Yeah, well, it feels great today. Yeah, it'll be hot this weekend. Thanks for saying hello. Hey, thank you. Hey, he's going in. Yeah, I almost went in. He said the water feels kind of cold. It's colder than it's starting to cool down. But he said it feels good because it's 87 degrees. Or it's 85 degrees. It's supposed to get to 87 degrees tomorrow. Hey, roller skating on the path there. Yeah, I'll show you where the sand is. See, you must have just tuned in. We were walking by Oak Street Beach where there's sand, and that's what people always like tune in and like immediately like want to see like everything at once. And I'm like, you got to wait till I get there. Here's the. I appreciate that. Thanks for your attention there. Here's the beautiful skyline of Chicago. Here we're up by North Avenue Beach here near the chess pavilion. Hey, there's probably more engagements going on. We always see these hearts set up. People do engagements and proposals and things. Hey, the geese are all out there. There's the chess pavilion. Yeah, it's a great city. Thanks for tuning in. This is one of the best views. I mean, we got problems like all other cities, but whatever the worst problem you think, it's not as much of a hellhole as you think, and it's not as great as it could be either. It has a lot of problems, namely financial and crime, but we got clean sidewalks. A bunch of geese turds here, though. There's the ducks and the geese. But hey, look at that view. Look at that nice view back to the Chicago skyline. People swimming in Lake Michigan. Let's see what these hearts. The people playing chess. We're so fortunate that it still feels like we might break the temperature record tomorrow. 87 degrees. I don't know what the record is. It's near there. Hey, getting sleep in the hammock there. Yeah, sign me up. Yeah, it's cold. They said it was cold. Hey, look at that view. Here's the chess pavilion. Nice place to play chess. Hey, let's see what they're setting up this display here. Look at all the roses. I want to compliment them on the job because people pay a lot of money and they do such a great job setting this up. I'm sure there's a whole party planning thing. Sometimes they light off fireworks. And see that, I'm sure you got, for the photos, you got that in the background. A very memorable spot here to do a proposal. Wow, look at all these roses. What a beautiful display. Look, they got candles. Look at that. You got the red carpet. What a good job here. Yeah, look at the beautiful skyline. See, we got the heart there. See, Chicago loves you. The John Hancock. Thank you. Look at all the roses. Yeah, great job. Thank you. Yeah. See, so you could use their services there and set it up there. Here, let's head over to the sand here. So people are picnicking, getting ready for proposals, playing soccer. We're playing volleyball over here. So here's some sand. Still playing beach volleyball here. It's going to be a summer weekend. We don't even have to take a vacation. The vacation came to us. Yeah, it's nice. Balmaro, how you doing there? Yeah, no, we're not looking forward to winter. That's why we got to soak it in. Enjoy this weekend. It's going to be hot. Swimming weather. And then the marathon's next. weekend. It would have been too hot to run the marathon this weekend. They made a great decision to wait another week. Whoever planned that is a genius there. Look at that nice view. Gold Coast there, Chicago, Lake Michigan, North Avenue Beach. See, all the sand would wash away. These are not natural beaches. That's why that's a concrete beach. That's why that sand's in that little bay, because it would wash away. If it wasn't for this hook, then there's a lot of little jetties that stick out there that keep the sand. All the sand wants the currents want to take it down to the Indiana dunes and the Michigan. But here you're playing beach volleyball. There's Castaways. This is North Avenue Beach, Chicago, Illinois. There's your sand, and this is it's a real beach. They truck in the sand, and it's a real lake. It's a real skyline, a real city, big bad city there. There's Navy Pier over that way. Lake back. You want your lake back? Yeah, see the beautiful skyline there. Izzy, yeah. Yeah, there's not too many leaves have changed. There's a few yellow here, but I think it's just because it's dry. We haven't had much rain. We've had a lot of sunny days in September. And so far in October, we've had a lot of sunny days at the beginning of the month here. So we'll take it. Grass is all gonna die for winter anyway, so it dries up now, so be it. This is when the Great Chicago Fire happened. It happened like late in the autumn and everything was dry. I wonder if it was like a fall like this. There's Castaways. Setting up the foul line there. Sounds like there's a DJ up there. Hey, playing volleyball. See, this is North Avenue Beach. Hey, you can lose so many hours. See where this EDM music's coming from here. Probably coming from the top of Castaways here. Hey, Pizza Lisa, how you doing here? We're up at North Avenue Beach here. Thanks for tuning in. Sounds like a rave's going on here. So, we'll leave the skyline there. We'll leave the John Hancock there playing volleyball. So, DJ Dan, thanks for asking. There's plenty of websites called like Zillow or apartments.com where you could type in 60614, which is the area code. I honestly don't know off the top of my head. I'm walking home from work. I wish I had the answer. I wish I could just like rattle off exactly what you're looking for and, the area you want to live and the quotable price that you could get at least from. But I don't know. I can tell you what I pay. I pay over $2,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment in Lincoln Park. My place isn't that big, but I got tall ceilings, which I appreciate. When I moved to Chicago in 1999, my studio apartment rent was first $450 a month, and it was $500. I thought that was extravagant. And then I got a one bedroom. It went up to $800. This is in 2000, and then it went up to $1,000 by like 2002, and I was really pissed about that. I was like, I'm paying $1,000 for this crappy apartment, and now it's more than double. So I still have a one-bedroom apartment. I don't live in the same unit. I live in a better unit with a dishwasher. Hey, they got the music going on here, North Avenue Beach. Yeah. North Avenue Beach here, Lake Michigan. Like that. That'd be nice. Yeah. So hey, it's a good way to start the weekend here. Come up here to Castaways, and there's a DJ there. Look, they're dancing. Yeah. Come here, sit by the beach, yeah. Very nice. Yeah, concrete guys. Is that nice, Nelios? Yeah. You dropped the beat there. Yeah. One time, I think it was last year after Lollapalooza, I was walking up on that concrete thing and there was a DJ, but my camera, I didn't have my gimbal, like lost power, and so my camera was all shaky, so I didn't post it. But he was a DJ just like all by himself. It was like midnight and he was playing out there. It was pretty loud too. Hey, there's a drone. So I don't know if Ernie's tuning in. Ernie showed me that they're going to do a no-fly zone for drones. That's why I said it's going to be hard to enforce that. With all ICE has to do, they're going to actually try to enforce people not flying drones as well. You know, there's a drone right there. I know Nick Koiken has a drone. I think Ernie has a drone. I think we know Dan Cruz has a drone. And Dan Cruz has several drones. And thanks, Ernie, for spreading that word there. We're all a lot of weird things in the news recently. There's the drone overhead here. We're at North Avenue Beach, Chicago, Illinois. We'll head back into the park here. Hey, thanks for tuning in here. Happy Friday night. Hope you're having a good one. No, it's Lake Michigan. It's Chicago. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, airports and Air Force bases do not like drones. It messes with the landing. I can't believe how many drones. I'll go. You know, I'll go to something. There'll be like a drone there. Like I was filming the Air and Water show, and there was a drone flying around. You know, it's like. Like we'll probably go. We might go to the Chinese Moon Festival tomorrow there, and there, I bet you there'll be somebody flying a drone over whatever. They'll have some cultural parades or the lanterns at least. Get your moon cookie. Go get some boba tea. Yeah, it's a huge beach, North Avenue Beach. So Fullerton's up that way. North Avenue Beach runs almost a mile, maybe like 3/4 of a mile. And then there's a break. Oak Street Beach is not large at all. North Avenue is much larger. Montrose is much larger. You can go to the south side, you go to Rainbow Beach, or down by Jackson Park. There's huge beaches down there. Nice waves. Sometimes. Here, we'll go over this pedestrian bridge there. Yeah, Myrna, thanks for tuning in there, Colleen. There, you had pizza? Oh, yeah, it's pizza there. That's good, Colleen. Yeah, we got a nice lakefront. Yeah, you're right, Debbie. Thanks for tuning in, Debbie P. So there's the tall towers we were just walking through there. Yeah, see you, Myrna. Gotta run. That's okay. We all got stuff. That's the good thing about YouTube. If you got to do something, or the phone rings, or you want to say what you missed, you can watch the rerun there. Go to the live tab. Hey, they're good. There's a protest. I think they're getting people to honk to see what the message is here. Yeah, they're honking. That's good. Yeah. Hey, that's great. That's awesome. They're getting people to honk there. Hey, that's great there. I'll film it here. That's good. Let's see what this says here. No kings. Good. Thank you. I got a flyer today for this about November the 5th in Washington D.C. But then tomorrow or Sunday in Pilsen, they're going to have an organizing meeting. So I think you know about that. Yeah. I commend the people going to that protest because they're getting arrested now. So hey, thank you. I'll film this. There it is.
Kevin was in Broadview today.
Oh, you were in Broadview. I saw some people got arrested. You know. Really? Oh, sorry, man. I saw the older woman from Humboldt Park. She got arrested at the hospital because they took somebody to the hospital. This just happened this afternoon, I think. And a ICE agent put her in cuffs. And she goes, I'm an elected official. And he wasn't wearing a mask. And it was in a hospital because I think they took somebody they injured trying to escape to a hospital. And yeah, I'll show you the news here. I'm not.
Wow, I didn't see that. I don't even know who that is.
Stuff's happening. So a Chicago alderperson was handcuffed while she was questioning him in Humboldt Park. Jessie Fuentes, I guess she's the older person for Humboldt Park.
Okay.
And I guess this just happened.
Oh my God.
And so this might make national news because
Right.
I think somebody was escaping ICE and they took him to the hospital. So she was like, "Where's your warrant?" Just like if there's a police, if the police have somebody handcuffed to a gurney, you know how that happens sometimes. But what's it like at Broadview?
Well, this morning there was a lot of us there. I was there for the prayer service every Friday.
Yeah.
They have a prayer service,
Yeah.
and there was like 20 ministers.
Yeah.
And then somebody was saying that, look up there, there's Christy. No, like I didn't. Anyway,
Wow.
apparently she was on top of the ice building.
She was there. She was in Chicago.
That's what they say. They
Wow.
saw her on top of that building.
Wow.
And then they moved us all over onto 26th Street.
Yeah.
And there were hundreds of us, and about 100 ICE officers right on in Cook County, and Broadview Police and Maywood Police were there also. So it was very safe in many, many ways. There were some people like us that were taunting the ICE agents, and that was getting a little scary.
Yeah.
Because
they're
looking at each other.
I know, yeah.
No pepper spray, no
Good.
shooting. That I was there for about 3 hours.
3 hours.
So yeah, I'm glad I went.
Well, thank you.
It's
Thanks
quite
for
an
being there.
experience, you know.
I saw another guy we ran into. He has a huge social media following. His name is Health Sure Could Be Free. We saw him on Michigan Avenue. He was by himself. I got the video, and he was holding a sign, and it said, "Fuck fascism." And he was by himself, and he said they pushed him off the bridge. But I saw he was in Broadview. I saw he was live streaming. So you probably might run into him.
We're gonna fold up.
Okay, good. So thank you. So hey, thank you for being out here. So how long were you out here? 2 hours. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So hey, they're gonna pack it up here. So this is what they were doing here. Let's see if I can get around here. And no kings. This is the no kings. And then thank you, sir. Thanks for talking to me. I'm Brian Really Chicago.
Brian.
I'm on YouTube, and I'm getting away from TikTok because they're starting to censor TikTok. We're noticing they pull down videos, and that's why I have to be on multiple platforms because TikTok just got sold, but who's buying it? People that are aligned with the administration. That's fascism creeping in. Winners and losers, and I already sold all my stocks in the stock market. I don't care if it keeps going up. I'm not that I want economic hardship, but you guys are on the front lines. You were out in Broadview, so thank you. What's your name, sir?
Kevin.
Kevin. Okay, thanks,
See
Kevin.
you again, Brian.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll see you again. Thank you so much. That's great. Hey, thank you. That's great. So we got him wrapping up here. Have a great weekend. Yeah. So that's great here. People out here volunteering their time, getting people to honk and just spreading the message. It was a no kings. They I think on their placards it just said no kings. And thanks, that guy was out at Broadview on the, you see people protesting at the ICE facility on the west side of Chicago. He was there this morning. People got arrested. He knows some of the people like healthcare should be free, which he has a huge social media presence. I need to learn his first name. And we run into these activists just like we used to run into Drew Drzezinski, and we will miss that guy. And what a void piece. I'm sure Drew would be covering all this stuff, so I need to, in Drew's honor, start covering this stuff better, because you do have to make a stand at a certain point. You can't just stay neutral, especially when it's affecting your city and your friends and neighbors and people like Ernie. And so, yeah. I think Vance would make a very poor president. He lies. He's a Christian that lies to your face. Those are the worst kinds. And I grew up in a fundamentalist Christian religion. I know a lot about Christianity, so it's the big lie that gets you the most. So, Vance is your guy. You can have him. My ancestors used to fight with I read this book, Hillbilly Elegy. Have you read Hillbilly Elegy? I have read Hillbilly Elegy. I used to like Vance when he was against Trump. A lot of the things that they're faulting other people for saying about Trump. Vance said it himself. Vance called him a tyrant and unfit for the presidential office. J.D. Vance said that about President Trump. What changed? Money, power, ego. Why does anybody run for president? I don't know. Here's so here they're playing soccer here. This is the soccer field here, and we're in Lincoln Park. They're playing softball here. That was nice. We talked to the gentleman that was at Broadview there. We'll put that. We'll start posting more of this content. There's the basketball. Oh, but otherwise, just a normal Friday. Normal Friday in America. Nothing to see here. You know, older person, woman gets roughed up by someone that won't identify themselves. They just say they're a federal agent. You know, if the CIA or FBI would do it, people would go nuts. But if it's an unmasked, unidentified non-police officer, just a regular Joe citizen six-pack throwing you in the back of the van there. See that guy in D.C. that has a mohawk? He doesn't even cover his face anymore. So people are going to know who these people are after this is all over, and they're going to have to live with their actions the rest of their life. As will the protesters. People like the guy we just talked to, he's risking his body by just being there because they are firing tear gas, and any of these things could escalate the violence really quickly. And it attracts mentally unstable people to those areas, you know. I mean, just look at the amount of mass shootings we've had recently. America's no safer now than it was under Biden. I said that, yes. And maybe there's less illegal migrants, but there's still a lot of Americans doing crime against other Americans that the administration seems to be okay with. But yeah, they still like to look down on Chicago. You still like to look down on, you know, what's J.B. Pritzker doing about it? What's Brandon? Well, what's the President of the United States doing about it? I know you're really, just take the medicine. Just take the medicine. Shut up. Don't think. We got all the answers. Good for you. You have it all figured out. What's this tent stuff? Oh, so event. Okay, so I think they're going to have some run or maybe sometimes they do cross country events and things. Looks like they're setting up for some race here on the weekend, and they got a start finish line and a stage. I'll look in to see what this is. I guess Lincoln Square has an Apple Fest going on. We talked about Chinatown Moon Festival. We talked about Maxwell, Halstead and Maxwell Street Market. There's something else going on. Oh, there's the Lincoln Park Wine Festival. No offense, I'm going to skip that because I don't drink alcohol. And so I'm never going to be cool in the wine crowd there. be like, I'm on YouTube so I can say this. It'd be like if I wasn't a pot smoker and I'd go to like the Golden Triangle there in California for like the Bud Fest and not partake, you know, it'd be kind of a waste of my time. But hey, if you like wine, go to the Lincoln Park Wine Fest. I think it's going to be in that park, Lincoln, Wrightwood, and Sheffield. I always forget the name of that park. It has a name. It starts with a J, Joe Quill or something like that. But here, let's see if there's any turtles out at the South Pond here. Welcome, thanks for coming along there. See, we walked across that bridge just at the right time there. I saw the DJ. Every night, you see, that's what I discovered. Why do I walk to work, and why do I waste all this time live streaming? Look at all that stuff you wouldn't see. Like if I would have took the train, I wouldn't have saw the DJ there by the beach. We wouldn't have saw the protesters and talked with the gentleman that was at the Broadview facility. That's newsworthy stuff, you know. And if something's happened on Michigan Avenue, if there's any like interesting events, you can't be every place. That's why we got multiple live streamers covering the city. There's always something. Like Jody G was down there at he was on Cermak. Hey, there's a turtle. There's a turtle swimming there. Yeah, I see some fish or something moving around down there. It's hard to see. I'm not gonna be able to capture it well on this phone here, but Pizzagate. Mooncakes. Yeah, get some mooncakes there, Nelios. Yeah, we'll check them out maybe. Yeah, and ECG. Charlie Brown. What's Charlie Brown saying? I didn't even see what he said. I'm missing the whole conversation there. Yeah, don't spam. You don't need any spam. Yeah, we all drank the Kool-Aid. I think there's two different types of Kool-Aid. There's Kool-Aid for MAGA and there's Kool-Aid for the liberals. And both the Kool-Aid makes both of them crazy. and both of them are delusional. And I probably drank the Kool-Aid too, and I'm kind of crazy too. So you're living in your reality, I'm living in mine, and it shows you there could be multiple. There's no objective reality, because your reality is different than mine, and what works for you wouldn't work for me, and what would work for me doesn't work for you. So how do we square this and compromise and find a way to coexist without destroying each other's lives? That's all we need to do. We'll work this out diplomatically. Thanks for tuning in here. Let us be friends, not enemies. We're all stuck here on the same planet. Got to find a way to get along. All these, you know, we really get down to it. What was John Lennon talking about? What was Gandhi and these universal human rights? Martin Luther King. Jesus would talk about universal human rights, you know. And I'm not preaching here. I'm just, you know, all these countries and nationalities rooting for a team, create wars. You know, John Lennon was trying to say, you know, give peace a chance. We got to move beyond these historical, you know, boundaries that we all were delusional. We thought we were entering this multicultural world where people would respect diversity and appreciate diversity. But no, we want to promote monoculture and assimilating and squelching some cultures and promoting others, and proving your papers and all these hoops and barriers to entry and these borders, you know, like country clubs, you know. You got to pay to have your friends, you know. And that's kind of how our government works now. We don't have enough money to outspend the lobbyists and the corporate money, and they've already won. Look, the stock market doesn't even care if the government shut down. It'll still go up. It'll still function without us. The stock market doesn't care if 100,000 government workers are going to get laid off and you know, lose their pensions and have to find another mean of employment. And the stock market doesn't care if literally millions of jobs are replaced by automation, AI, robots, self-driving cars, Uber Eats robots, and what should be a good thing for society, that frees up human capital and labor so we can all like live and pursue like art and like, you know, healthiness and exploring the world and travel and leisure. No, we're just going to use it to impoverish people and concentrate wealth in people so some of the people could enjoy it, but not everybody. It's like AI would be perfect for socialism, but no, we won't let it work. we won't spread out the benefits. We're going to hoard it. Here, look at that. Look at the skyline of Chicago, the Commonwealth that we all share. Yeah, I'm just filling space here. Take everything I say with a grain of salt here. I'm just riffing here. Here's the farm and the zoo. The cows are in bed. There, Nature Boardwalk here, Lincoln Park Zoo, Chicago, Illinois, planet Earth. October the 3rd, 2025. We got 6:06 in the PM. Heading home from work. You know where we're at. The bridge with the skyline view here. Lincoln Park Zoo's there. Peggy Notebart. No. Hey, they got a wedding going on at the Genie Gang over there, the Genie Gang Pavilion. Yeah. Here comes a moped. Hey, look at that view. Yeah. Yeah. They're cheering for him. Yeah. They're cheering for the wedding there. Look at that. Look at that skyline view. Yeah. So here, let's zoom in there. So this is the South Pond in Lincoln Park, Chicago, Illinois. And then they're taking wedding pictures over there. That's the Genie Gang Pavilion. Yeah, they're cheering for him. They're cheering for him over there. I can't see where they went. And hey, they're walking. There they are. They're cheering for him over there. They're heading down. Yeah, love's in the air. Can you feel it? Calling in the air tonight. Hey, nice dress. I say they're probably going to the wedding, so that's what's. They're taking the pictures there, or engagement photos, or something. Yeah, look nice. Friday night. Yeah, well, maybe it's them. Oh, I didn't even see these people. I think they're going to meet them. So they're taking pictures there. That's a beautiful spot as well. Yeah, good. Here's their friends. They're greeting each other here. I'm like a voyeur here, but this is like Hallmark movie stuff here. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, very nice there. See, getting ready for the wedding there, and they're taking pictures over there. Hey, we're in the public gaze here. There's a public park. Look at that nice skyline view. Yeah, we made borders and caused wars. You know, I used to have all these weird idealistic misnotions like, I'm a citizen of the world. Well, that no longer is the case. We're going back into an age of nationalism where, institutions that used to promote multilateralism and cooperation amongst the nations like the United Nations are being devalued even by our own president. We've lost faith in them. People don't want to spend money for them, and everything wants to be privatized, which just means private wealth over socialized benefits. And I know socialism has a lot of problems too. I know it's not the answer for everything, if anything, but we do have a mixed economy, and the part that's mixed that's what's going to be cut out. Like Amtrak, or the CTAL system, or public broadcasting, PBS, Sesame Street. We're cutting the soul, and of course private corporations that sell you cars, they love that. Even though I can't afford the products they're selling, they're going to force me to work for them somehow. Who's your daddy and who do you work for? Hey, they got a party going on here. What was that? So there's a big noise there. I guess that's maybe that was at the sound check for that. Sounded like an explosion. Let's see. I don't see anybody on the bridge. Yeah, they're taking some nice. Oh, I missed it. See, right where I was at, they're taking wedding photos right there. No, electric taxis. Fabulous. I can't afford those even too. We saw those bike taxis lined up after the Oasis. I like their lights though, but we didn't even. My brother-in-law could afford to take them, but he was like, nah, I ain't paying for that either. Hey, they're playing the Boogie Fever there. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice shot there. You got the camera set up there. Yeah, look at the reflection there. Yeah, we got professional photographers set up here at the north end of the South Pond. That's that similar view we got on the bridge there. Hey, Arthur, how you doing there? Yeah, Colleen, it's beautiful. Thanks for being on here. There it is. So I'm going to get a copyright strike here, but I think I can scrub out this music. I don't mind scrubbing out disco, no offense. I'll have to, I think I'll just forfeit the royalties because I want to hear the DJ and I want to hear this music. But hey, look at that view. Look at that view you get there, see? That's why the people rent that out. You got that view from that second over the pond there. Hey, Grim Evils. Sweden, thanks for tuning in there, Ann. Well, Ann, since you're tuning in from Sweden, I'll show you the Hans Christian Andersen statue. The Brothers Grimm, or the Grimm fairy tales, I think. He wrote Little Mermaid, a lot of things that were turned into Disney movies. We got a statue to Hans Christian Andersen over here, nice Scandinavian names. Thanks for tuning in there. And we're in Lincoln Park in Chicago. We just went by the South Pond Cafe Bar. That's the Lincoln Park Zoo all behind that fence, but it's closed. And they got the Fall Fest going on. Here, Hans Christian Andersen, there he is. He's all green and tarnished there. How you doing there, Hans? Look at the nice mother goose. Mother goose. Yeah. So we're rounded out. We'll see if it's not dark enough yet. If it was a little later, they'd be turning on the lights for the tree there in front of the zoo. Maybe they'll turn it on early. We might see that this weekend. But I got this other stuff to go to. I don't know if we'll be able to get to it. So we're about 2.5 miles north of the loop of Chicago, near the Lincoln Park Zoo. This is Stockton. This is Lincoln Park, the actual park. The neighborhood's there. I know it's confusing.
That's the only thing about living in Washington.
And that bridge with a nice view. There's a pond called the South Pond in Lincoln Park. You might be able to find on the map. There's a North Pond. We're going to kind of head around one of the entrances of the Lincoln Park Zoo, and I'm heading home from work. The reason I'm here is I'm walking home from work. For years, long before the age of live streaming, I've been walking to and from work here like punishment. Bugs Moran used to live in that building behind the trees there. It used to be a hotel, now it's an apartment building, and that's where the Relic House used to be. Jennifer You Should Eat talks about that all the time. There used to be a German beer garden there. We talk about the history of Chicago and all cities. Mainly I'm just walking to and from work here. But we saw some cool stuff tonight. Ran into those people on the bridge there. Hey, Michael Anderson, yeah, thanks for saying hello to Nelios there. Yeah, Nelios from Ireland. Michael Anderson, thanks for being on. From Ohio. That's great. Michael, someone was asking me about the Bengals. I was like, I don't know. It depends on how Joe Burrow's doing, you know. Yeah, it was. I was sorry to see the Reds. The Reds lost to the Dodgers. They had some offense at the beginning of the second game, but then the Dodgers came roaring back and blew it open. I'm just happy the Cubs are still going. So the Cubs play the Milwaukee Brewers tomorrow at 1. I think Taco posted the info there. It's in Milwaukee. But they'll eventually head back to Chicago either way. Yeah, the Bengals. Sorry for the Reds there, yeah. Oh, I grew up in southeast Indiana, so I grew up near Cincinnati. So I grew up a Reds and Bengals fan. That's why, you know, I relate to Michael there. And I grew up in the country of Indiana, like the farm fields, like the soybean and corn fields. I did tasseled corn was my first job when I was still in high school, and then I worked construction. But that was, you know, before I went to college. We were farm boys. We started working when we were 14. The school bus would take us to the tassel corn. They'd pay us $3.25 an hour. And when I was a little kid, there was tomato farms in southern Indiana, and the migrant workers would come from south of the border, and they would be there at the beginning of the school year and at the end, and then they would have to go back home, because under Reagan there was a work permit program, and that's the way they did it back then. And I can't ever imagine we'd end up in the situation we're in now in America. I'm shocked and saddened at what's going on here, and we feel it more in Chicago and in LA. LA certainly felt it worse. Got it worse so far than anybody. Washington D.C. got it pretty bad still, and New York City. When I first saw Mikey live streams in New York City, does a great job, and he was just like, look at this. These masked guys are just pulling people off of Manhattan streets, and he got choked up, and I got choked up, and it made me fear for our country here, you know. And I know some people are cheering this. You know, this is what they voted for, and that just shows you how stark the contrast of the concept of what we envisioned for this country to be, and the ideals that we thought it represented are shattered. And what do we tell the kids? How do you explain it to kids? Mommy, why is this masked guy taking this tackling this woman and separating her from her kids, putting her in the back of a van and won't identify themselves. That's how mean government, you know, like Mr. Rogers used to say, look for the helpers. And people are not looking, they're looking at ICE as something to fear, not something that helps, you know. And the police had to deal with this too. The police became feared in neighborhoods, and for minor traffic violations would escalate into life or death duels, you know, and we still haven't found a solution to that. We got this going on. Supreme Court says it's okay, temporary ruling is okay for ICE to racially profile people. Come on. And the Supreme Court, no, I'm not even going to go there. I can't even talk about it. Here, let's look at the flowers here. I'm just disgusted. I'm disgusted. Why do I want to be an adult? I don't want to act like these people, put on suit and ties and sell you violence. Here's the fountain here, Lincoln Park. Here's the nice, yeah, let's film the latest summer. This is the deepest blue of deepest summer here. It's gonna be 87 degrees tomorrow. No one's even talking about climate change. This is normal. Yeah, we'll see if it snows this year in Chicago. Here's the conservatory. Now I think we're due for a really bad winter. We're gonna get a polar vortex and 3 feet of snow. We're gonna get a traffic jam, Armageddon, cars trapped in the snow, thunder snow. Who misses thunder snow? I got a video where I had some thunder snow on it. I think I still got it. Yeah, T-Lime. I don't know if T-Lime did. I went to the beach there. If you're asking if I did, yeah, you can rewind this. We were at Oak Street Beach and on the edge of North Avenue Beach. That's where we saw the DJ. There, I'm almost home. So hey, have a good weekend. Message the mods there if I'm streaming tomorrow or Sunday, just so they know what's going on. You don't have to watch. You got other stuff going on. You got your own lives, I know. But we got enough in the pool. Someone will be available that want to watch. I might run into Ernie at some of these things too. You never know. And I would have hit the protest on Tuesday, but I worked from home that day. It was just, there's so much stuff going on. I wouldn't have known about this other thing. Here, let's do one last thing for it here. So we were talking about this earlier here. I got this flyer today. Come to Chicago's mass organizing meeting Sunday, October the 5th, 3 to 5 p.m. St. Pius the 5th Parish, 1901 South Ashland Avenue. That's in Pilsen. They're organizing for the fall of the Trump fascist regime. There's going to be a giant protest in Washington, D.C. People from all over the nation, November the 5th, 2025. And we'll see how, if it grows to the size of Million Man March or the 1960s Vietnam era protests, which were staggering in size, especially in the early 70s, before I was born. But we got people that tune in that remember that stuff. People that remember the 68 convention in Chicago. Feel we're heading through a more turbulent time here, so we're preparing for that even as live streamers. So thanks for tuning in here. Belden, Lincoln Park West, Belden Stratford here. There's the Billy Shakespeare here. Have a great evening here. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody there, and I'll post some more reruns there, and we'll keep the show that never ends here, just scenes of daily life. Thanks for being part of my life and Chicago. So hey, we'll talk to you later. Have a great weekend there. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks Dolores there. Adise. Yeah, Michael Anderson, thanks for being on. I really appreciate you're part of this, and everybody else there. And Taco Jalapeno Salsa, Anita, Mary Therese, Shauna, Jessica, everybody there. Pizza Lisa, thanks for being on. Pizza Lisa, everybody else there. If I missed anybody, Chris, And we got other mods too, Jessica and Kahala. And we'll keep on trucking there. If I missed anybody, my apologies. Thanks to McCrae. McCrae was great. And here's the bird condo. And there's the Belton Stratford. So have a good night there. We'll see y'all later here from Chicago. Yeah. Thanks, Phil, Drew, everybody. I missed that one before. Sorry if I missed you there. I gotta sign off. Tea time. Talk to you later. Thanks a lot. Everybody.